Okay, so Gregg Popovich.
Yeah.
He announced he would be stepping down from coaching the Spurs. He will transition to being the team president full time. So assistant Mitch Johnson will be hired as the team's next head coach. Just in general with the coaching situation, and then, Wemby and just everything kind of going on with the Spurs. Mase, what do you think is their future?
I think I definitely, if this is somebody that Popovich has picked, then I'll respect it, because he's definitely a basketball brilliant mind. When we talk about some of the greatest to ever do it, Popovich is right up there. I don't think there's anybody I could really put above Popovich when it comes to coaching, X and O's, out of bounds plays, just everything we're talking about, and getting his team prepared to play, knowing what it takes to have them ready when the time comes. Even the stellar performance that he gave against a stacked Miami Heat team, Popovich is one of the greatest to ever do it. He has some great talent there, but anybody that he select, I'll go with it. He's like Mike Tomlin, better than Mike Tomlin to us when it comes to basketball. Like, you just trust whatever he says, because he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, basketball coach, as far as coaching is concerned, you got Pat Riley, you got Phil Jackson, and to me, higher than both of them is Gregg Popovich.
Yeah.
He's going to be head of basketball operations, they said, president of the Spurs, so I like that for him. I'm going to be honest with you, it made me sad when I seen him at the press conference, man. It takes time, especially his age, to come back from a stroke, but he looked a little off balance a little bit. He didn't talk a lot, and that shit made me real sad, man. Because I'm like, the Spurs are my team. For those who don't know, made me sad. I hope, but more than anything, we know his coaching accolades are top notch. I just want him to get better and get healthy, and not necessarily rush back to do the job. But I know when you've been doing it as long as he has, it's hard to just sit home and say, relax, whether you're 72 or 27. If this is what you've been doing majority of your life, it's really hard. I think he was going to retire a couple years ago, actually, until they got Wemby. When they got Wemby, he said, okay, I'll stick around a little longer so I can nurture him, so to speak, or teach him the ropes, et cetera, et cetera. And we seen a friendlier Gregg Popovich coaching Wemby than we did see with Tony Parker or Manu Ginobili or Tim Duncan. And I like the new personality, man. I just really want him to get better and take on the president job at the Spurs and kick ass doing that as well.
Sure, definitely agree. And since, the news has kind of been announced, there's actually been that picture of you and Popovich that kind of circulated around.
I ran down on Pop one day. Right, I was actually in Manhattan, and I was at a light, and Gregg Popovich was crossing the street just randomly. I'm like, is that fucking Gregg Popovich? And niggas like, that's Gregg Popovich. I was in a light. I jumped out the car and told my man, get in the driver's seat. I come around the block, I ran down on Gregg Popovich. I'm like, yo, I know you don't know me. I need a picture. Spurs is my team. I know you see everybody and they tell you that, but I ain't capping, my nigga. I need a picture. He was mad cool, gave me the flick and all that. We talked for a couple minutes. So.
That's fire. And you're actually a Spurs fan. You wasn't just like, oh, I'm a Spurs. You're like, nah.
I don't switch up. You see murder team to team every night. I'll sit there and tell you the Lakers was his team last year. Now we back with Golden State. The skies are looking blue and orange when the Knicks win.
I'm finna get my Knicks hat.
Yeah, I'm going to get a Knicks hat. I'm a Spurs fan. But made me become a Spurs fan, to be totally honest with you, is like I was like in between teams. I'm like, I don't want to just ride Chicago, pause, everybody's doing that, the Lakers. So shout out to my man Rod Strickland, and he didn't stay there that long, but when Rod Strickland went to the Spurs, I was like, I'm going to stick with the Spurs because we got a nigga from New York that's actually nice. Went to DePaul, New York basketball legend. I'm like, I'm a Rod Strickland fan, so that made me become a Spurs fan. This is before Tim Duncan. I think Sean Elliott was there, Lloyd Daniels.
Yeah, that's when I was a Spurs fan.
It's like, well, that's all the time that we have not played.
Yeah, man. When he said Sean Elliott, that was back around the time I was a Spurs fan, when they had Steve Kerr,
Why'd you leave?
Things happen. Titletown got on the move.
Titletown wasn't even there. Titletown actually came after that, to be honest with you. Was your fan when niggas started winning the titles?
Who?
The Spurs. Because the team you talking about, they wasn't Titletown back then. They didn't win the title.
When they had David Robinson, that's when that was my team.
You just had Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was 1 year, and then after that, he left out.
I know.
But what about after that? They won 4 titles without David Robinson.
That's when they were my team. What are you saying?
I'm just
He's acting like your question is crazy. Like, what are you saying?
Because what I'm saying is, he said when Sean Elliott was there, Dave Robinson, they won 1 title. It was 4 titles after they left. So I'm trying to figure out if that was
Tony Parker and all of them. Yeah, that was my team. A little bit before that, but you know.
Nah, his title started when the Knicks won in '73. That's when. Let's not forget, he was the real Lakers fan. Yeah.
The Lakers is where Titletown start for me. That's the origin of Titletown.
What about Boston?
Showtime. Huh?
What about Boston?
I ain't really like Boston. That's probably the only team I never really liked. My stepdad used to force me to watch Boston. That's why I have that's why I got a problem. Nah, I got a problem with Boston. You know
why?
I just hated watching them because I had to watch them.
No, I get what you're saying, but Mase was claiming Boston was his team, and I know Titletown is on the move. I get it.
I didn't say.
I just don't
I never
get your.
said Boston.
Last season you did.
Yes, that was the whole
I said
argument.
they will win it.
That was the whole argument. And you were like JT, my dog, and Jaylen Brown, and Batman and Robin.
When Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown said we never seen Titletown, it was downhill ever since then.
Right.
Niggas said they ain't really
Titletown.
Y'all ain't really Titletown. Nah. That had been downhill for Boston ever since then. They only won 1. It's been downhill.
I try to give him the benefit of the doubt because, Jaylen Brown was from Marietta. He went to school in Marietta. But, people show you who they are. You believe them the first time.
Okay.
We'll revisit that. I have plenty of questions, but we will wait. So I'm just confused about a lot of things, but I'm learning.
We all confused that. We all
It's called a spin cycle.
No, I have a theory. I just don't know if you're willing to accept it.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I just don't feel like you like Jason Tatum.
What?
I don't feel like you like Jason Tatum. I think you think he's a good player, but I don't think you're ready to make him like the leader. I just don't feel like you like Tatum.
I never thought he was the leader. I always thought Jaylen Brown was the leader.
So you don't like Jason Tatum as a leader?
It's not that I don't like him. That's what me and Ken was talking about.
If Jaylen Brown was the quote unquote leader, I feel like you would like the Celtics.
No, I don't like the Celtics. It has nothing to do with Jason Tatum. I said when I was young, my
because I'm
stepdad
piecing
used to
things
force
together.
Me to watch them, so I didn't like them because of that.
Right, but I feel like as long as Jason Tatum is the leader of the Celtics, you don't like the Celtics because the light skin, the dark skin, the comments.
This goes before this. You bringing it to now. This is way before. Boston is way before Jason Tatum. We've been watching Boston. When they had Kenny Anderson, when they had Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce,
Reggie Lewis.
I just never liked Dana Barros. Right. Like way back there, I just never liked Boston.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they was always like a rival to
the Lakers.
Sound
like he's traumatized now. Now we're opening up.
Trauma.
It sounds like we're
healing this year,
Reggie
guys.
Lewis, Lynn Bias. It was just always something crazy.
Yeah, and you gotta read body language. That I'm learning something today. I asked him, "Luck died." Nigga said, "Nah," and kept it moving. Then he made sure he said, "My stepdad." Let's be clear. So. I think it's trauma from when he's young, because if you don't want to watch something, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like the Lakers, if you're in a house where you like the Lakers, because it was almost like Bloods and Crips with Boston and the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? It was some serious bit. Because you got to think about this. I'm just giving you some history. In the 80s, outside of, it was the Pistons and the Sixers won 2 championships in the 80s. The other 8 championships go to the Lakers and the Celtics. So every year for 10 years, 8 years, out of 10 years, you got the Lakers playing the Celtics just about in the championship. And they even won on one. So you got to think about this. Every year was Lakers-Celtics, Lakers-Celtics. Lakers won 5, Boston won 3.
Yeah.
For a decade.
Yeah. And I get that part too, which just throws me off because it's like, you're a Warriors fan and you're so it's like, I understand it's deep rooted, but it's like,
I'm not jacking up apart. We just got to the bottom of the Celtics.
I didn't say all that.
I'll give them the Celtics. If a nigga in the house, that's like saying if you live in the house and you a North Carolina fan and your little brother's a Duke fan, you gonna want to beat the nigga up like, yo, don't come in here with that Duke shit.
You about Tiny Archibald and all these niggas. Like, bro, we not going with Tiny Archibald and Bob Cousy and all that. Niggas is
Bill
watching.
Russell.
Yeah, niggas is watching Magic passing the ball like this. It's like, nah, we going with the Lakers.
True.
Yeah.
Well, will we ever find out Mace's true team? I guess we'll never know. But y'all, that is all the time.
Chiefs not even his team no more.
That's
Kansas City.
I'm lost. I'm really lost. I'm gonna think of just questions for you in general.
I gotta speak with my counsel.
Council is crazy. And where are they based at?
I gotta speak with my counsel for that.
I thought he was going to say they based in Titletown.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
That was the...
I don't want to give out the location, you know. People start showing up from everywhere that don't belong. I can't just give out the address on the air like that. Nick knows where it's at.
How he know where it's at and we don't know where it's at?
Cam know where it's at.
I'm confused. I don't know. Year to year, man. He turned his back on the Chiefs. I already knew when he turned his back on the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I got to find out for y'all. Not just for me, but for y'all
Might
too.
need to do a case study on it.
It's going to be a case study. That's exactly... It's going to be set. Y'all stay tuned. The case study of Titletown is coming. I will have
look, I ain't even graduated. I can tell you what a case study is. I've done case studies outside of school on niggas. No pen and paper. Like, this nigga right here. Whole case study on niggas.
It is needed, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two big necks, like when they doing them 2 for $5.